run your body cam?
I am now, because I don't know how legit you are at the moment.
It's okay. Special Agent Hatter. The FBI.
Ever wondered what happens when law enforcement officers make colossal mistakes? Brace yourself for a roller coaster ride through shocking encounters where cops couldn't tell a federal agent from a suspect. From mistaken identities to terrifying traffic stops, these jaw-dropping moments will leave you questioning how some officers earned their badges. But before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Today, we're diving into a jaw-dropping compilation of moments where law enforcement officers found themselves in quite the pickle. From mistaking a federal agent for a suspect to a shocking traffic stop involving an Army lieutenant, get ready for some eye-opening encounters that'll leave you questioning just how some cops got their badges. The case of mistaken identity. Let's dive into our first story, straight out of Rochester. Picture this. Two cops on a regular patrol minding their own business when they stumble upon a scene outside a local bar. Now, this is where it gets interesting. They spot a guy who they think fits the description of someone they're after. But here's the kicker. Turns out they got the wrong guy. Yep, it's like a scene from a comedy, except it's real life. Can you imagine the awkwardness? These officers were convinced they had their man, but it turns out they were way off the mark. Talk about a major oops moment. And to make matters worse, it was all caught on camera. But hey, we're all human, right? And sometimes even the best of us make mistakes. The smoking gun. Tensions are running high, right? These officers are dead set on their guy being the one they're after, even though he's shouting from the rooftops that they've got it all wrong. And let me tell you, things go from 0 to 100 real quick. We're talking about a full-blown showdown caught on camera, folks. Imagine the scene, tempers flaring, voices raised, and egos clashing. It's like a scene straight out of a blockbuster movie, except it's happening right there on the streets for everyone to witness. And you know what's wild? This kind of stuff isn't as rare as you might think. In fact, studies show that confrontations between law enforcement and civilians are on the rise, with incidents like these making headlines more often than ever before. It's like a powder keg ready to blow, and all it takes is one wrong move to set it off. So, as we watch this heated exchange unfold, it's a stark reminder of the tensions simmering just beneath the surface in our communities. But hey, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. With better training, communication, and understanding on both sides, we can work towards a future where encounters like these are the exception, not the rule. It's a tall order, sure, but hey, a little bit of hope can go a long way, right? Let's keep the conversation going, let's keep pushing for change, and let's keep striving for a world where everyone feels safe and respected. After all, isn't that what we all want at the end of the day? A surprise revelation. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this story is about to take a crazy turn. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, bam! The truth comes out. Turns out the guy they've been going toe-to-toe with? Yeah, he's not just any old Joe, he's an FBI agent. Can you believe it? I sure couldn't when I first heard it. It's like something straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. The officers' jaws must have hit the floor when they found out they were tangling with one of the big dogs. It's a classic case of assumptions gone awry, and boy, are they going to be kicking themselves for it. Picture the scene. The officers standing there, red-faced and speechless, as it dawns on them just how badly they messed up. It's the kind of moment you couldn't make up if you tried. But hey, we all make mistakes, right? The important thing is what we learn from them. And hopefully these officers will think twice before making any snap judgments in the future. After all, you never know who might be on the other end of that badge. Unraveling the truth. Let's switch gears and head on over to Nevada for another jaw-dropping tale. So, picture this. You've got this former U.S. Air Force special agent just minding his own business, cruising down the road when bam, he gets pulled over by the cops. Now you'd think it's just your run-of-the-mill traffic stop, right? Wrong. Turns out this guy's got some serious credentials. We're talking FBI level here. And let me tell you, when those officers spot his badge, things go from 0 to 100 real quick.
No, I do contract work, so I have to have lights on this vehicle for someone to work.
They shouldn't be that color, though.
Yeah, they shouldn't be red and white, brother.
No, it depends on who you're contracting with.
It's like they've stumbled upon a gold mine or something. But here's the kicker. Instead of treating him with the respect he deserves, they start grilling him like he's some kind of criminal mastermind. Can you believe it? I sure couldn't when I first heard it. It's like they've completely lost their minds. But hey, here's where it gets even crazier. This guy's just trying to do his job, you know? He's on his way to log his partner back into his computer, and next thing he knows, he's getting grilled by the cops. Talk about a case of wrong place, wrong time. And you know what's even wilder? This isn't an isolated incident. Nope, turns out cases like these are happening more often than you might think. In fact, studies show that instances of police overreach during routine traffic stops are on the rise, with innocent civilians getting caught in the crossfire. It's like something out of a bad movie, except it's happening right here, right now, in our own backyard. But hey, here's the silver lining. Stories like these shine a light on the need for better police training and accountability. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter who we are or what we do for a living. Interrogation tactics gone awry. You've got your average Joe just going about his day when out of nowhere he's approached by the cops. Now, you'd think it's just a casual chat, right? Wrong. Before he knows it, he's bombarded with question after question, like he's under some kind of interrogation. It's like they're trying to crack some big case or something. But here's where things take a turn for the worse. As the conversation goes on, it becomes painfully obvious that these officers might have crossed a line. I mean, we're talking serious boundary crossing here, folks. They're digging deeper and deeper, fishing for anything they can use against him. It's like they've got a checklist of every possible wrongdoing under the sun, and they're determined to tick off every box. But hey, here's the kicker. Despite their best efforts, they're coming up empty-handed. That's right, folks. Not a shred of evidence to support their suspicions. It's like they're grasping at straws, desperate to make something stick. And you know what's even crazier? This isn't an isolated incident. Oh no. Cases like these are happening more often than you might think. In fact, studies show that instances of police overreach during routine inquiries are on the rise, with innocent civilians getting caught in the crossfire. It's like something out of a bad movie, except it's happening right here, right now, in our own backyard. But here's the silver lining. Stories like these shine a light on the need for better police training and accountability. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, no matter who we are or what we do for a living. From bad to worse. Tensions are skyrocketing, and before you know it, we're knee-deep in a full-blown showdown. It's like watching a pressure cooker ready to blow its lid.
Turn around, let me see your hands. Okay, let me see your hands. I need to see some ID. Get on the ground! Get on the ground now!
The next thing you know, bam! The agent finds himself in cuffs and his vehicle is being torn apart like it's some kind of crime scene. But here's the million-dollar question. Will the officers strike gold, or are they just barking up the wrong tree? It's like a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek with the truth hanging in the balance.
I'm a federal agent.
9171-103.
I'm a federal agent.
Did you know that incidents of vehicle searches during routine traffic stops have been on the rise in recent years? That's right, folks. According to the latest data, more and more drivers are finding themselves on the receiving end of a thorough rummaging through their cars. And you know what's even crazier? Despite all the time and effort poured into these searches, they often come up empty-handed. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, except the needle's nowhere to be found. But I guess you can't fault them for trying, right? After all, it's their job to leave no stone unturned. The power of authority.
Driver, roll the window down. Put your hands out the window. Turn the vehicle off. Put your hands out the window. He's not complying, Judge.
Come around your side.
Let me see your hands.
We're zooming into Virginia, where an Army lieutenant gets pulled over for what should have been a run-of-the-mill traffic stop.
What's going on?
How many occupants are in your vehicle?
I'm not getting out the vehicle. What's going on?
Get out the car.
What's going on?
Despite following the rules and trying to do the right thing, this lieutenant finds himself in a real pickle when the officers decide to crank things up a notch. And by notch, I mean they go from 0 to 100 real quick, with guns drawn and tempers flaring. It's like something out of a Hollywood blockbuster, only this time it's happening in real life. Now let's talk numbers for a second. Did you know that traffic stops involving members of the military are more common than you might think? Yep, according to recent stats, service members are more likely to get pulled over than civilians. Crazy, right? But wait, it gets even crazier. Despite their training and discipline, they're not immune to the same treatment we regular folks get when dealing with the boys in blue. And that's exactly what went down with our Army lieutenant here. He's doing everything by the book, and yet he still finds himself staring down the barrel of a gun. Talk about a wake-up call. But here's the kicker. Instead of de-escalating the situation like they're supposed to, the officers double down on their aggressive tactics, turning a routine stop into a full-blown nightmare. It's like they skipped the manual on conflict resolution and went straight to action movie mode. And as for our lieutenant, well, let's just say he's in for one heck of a ride, seeking justice. As we wrap up these wild tales, it's time to ponder some big questions. What's the deal with law enforcement these days, huh? It feels like we're stuck in a never-ending loop of questionable tactics and questionable decisions. But it's not all doom and gloom. As we look back on these roller coaster rides of encounters, let's not forget one thing: justice and fairness. Yeah, you heard me right. It's about holding folks accountable, whether they're wearing a badge or not. Because let's face it, nobody's above the law, right? It's the great equalizer, the thing that keeps our society ticking along nicely. As we digest these stories and maybe shake our heads a few times, let's keep that in mind. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve a fair shake, no matter who we are or where we come from. And who knows, maybe these tales will spark some much-needed change. Wouldn't that be something? Here's to justice, fairness, and a future where encounters like these are nothing but a distant memory. Cheers to that, my friends. Well, there you have it, folks. 3 compelling stories that shed light on the complexities of law enforcement and the consequences of hasty assumptions. If you found these tales as riveting as we did, don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.